Welcome to another inspiring episode of Changepreneurs. I'm Roshni Radhakrishnan, and co-hosting with me today is Priyanka. As Changepreneurs, we bring you conversations that spark change. Today we are joined by Ashay Mahajan, co-founder of Swayam Talks, a platform that celebrates uncommon thinking in common people. Rooted in strong Indian context, a regional talk, Swayam Talk shines a light on stories that reflect Indian values, societal dynamics, and stories of grassroots transformation. From a career in chartered accountancy to endurance sport to entrepreneurship, Ash's journey is all about bold pivots, purpose driven choices, and a deep belief in the power of storytelling to inspire real change. Ashay, welcome to Changepreneurs.
Hi, Roshni. Thank you so much.
So, before we get into all the wonderful things you're doing at present, we thought we'll dive a bit into your childhood and your teenage years. How were you like? Give us a glimpse.
So, whatever the current schooling system says, I was a very average student. And when I say average, it is always judged by the marks what we get. And I used to get average marks. But in terms of the activities, I can explain it to you that I was involved in all the activities which used to happen in the school. So right from the dance to sports to uh, anything which can take me out of the classroom. So I always used to like the stuff when everybody is sitting in the classroom and the teacher used to call Mahajan sir तिकडे सूर्य नमस्कार दाखवायचे दुसऱ्या वर्गाला. So I used to be absolutely happy that now I have to get out of these books and I can do something which can really keep me excited. So I will not say I was naughty, but I was I was just kind of trying to roam around the place, trying to touch and feel as many experiences I can get. And I was not confident, but I was not bothered. So if you somebody would have seen me in the school, uh, हुलिया इतना खराब रहता था कि my brother used to come to school well dressed. Until ninth, nobody kind of recognized that we two are brothers. So someday teacher asked that कि ये तेरा भाई है? So he said, unfortunately, this is how he comes to school. Because स्कूल के आने के पहले ही मेरा हुलिया खराब हो जाता था. But I think so that's the thing which Ashay Mahajan in the younger days was made of, to explore, not bothered about how it will be seen by the world. And I keep on saying that that was one of the most confident stages of my life, where I was absolutely happy with myself. And then being in the middle class, that is also advantage, I think so. So most of the values which were given to by parents was uh, value what you have. Don't try to show off what is not with you. And one more interesting thing which I feel in at least our school days was we had friends from all the circles. So you had a friend who used to stay in a bungalow. You had a friend who used to stay in a chawl. So when you used to visit these places, you could see that all are living an interesting life, and someone has a big house, someone has a small house, but that is about the house. It doesn't kind of matter about the friendships. So friendships were equal. It was not measured in the society status, which sometimes when I look at the kids, my kids right now, it is very unfortunate that they have got homogeneous set of friends. So बर्थडे सबके मैकडोनल्ड्स में ही होते हैं, सबके पार्टीज एक जैसी दिखती है. And rather than the party, the return gift क्या होगा उसके ऊपर ज्यादा डिस्कशन होता है. So I can't blame them. That is how the society is being shaped. But I think so that was a differentiator, that I could move around in different kind of areas of houses and could experience much more than what your life was. अपना ऐसा life है, ऐसे बहुत सारे interesting lives है. So that is about my childhood. That is how I like to explore.
Very interesting. and very interesting perspective about how kids were back then and how kids are today, right?
Right.
So that's a very good point, Ashay, that you got brought up. You spoke about your teenage, you spoke about your school days. Why don't you tell us about the most grueling subject, right? You got into CA, you become a CA, right? And you are talking about that you were an average student, right? So how did that happen? And what those tough years taught you, and what were some of the lessons that that still show up for you in your life today?
So actually, the most important part of my CA journey is I'm acknowledging on this podcast that it took me 14 attempts to become a chartered accountant. And the biggest thing which chartered accountancy taught me is resilience. So nowadays also somebody comes and talks to me. I say that कि मेरे पास 7 साल का पेशेंस है, 14 attempts का पेशेंस है, and that is my biggest skill. And you will not believe that I by the time I was giving my attempts, I had started working also. So one of my office friends, one day she said that ki, I just wanted to have a word with you. And I said that, okay, what is it about? She said that I got to know that continuously you are giving your attempts. Every attempt you are failing, and still you have the courage to go back to the exam. So I just wanted to appreciate you because I am also a CA interclear and I just tried 2 times, but it was so humiliating to get the failed mark sheet at my house that I gave up after uh, 2 attempts. And I said that I just have a different perspective of how I look towards it. If you have an opportunity of doing something, and if you are not going for that exam, just visualize that you are getting a virtual or a mark sheet which you are not able to see, but it is exactly a failed mark sheet only because you have the opportunity and you did not go for the exam. Mine only comes in a printed form with all the marks and everything in it. You are getting a virtual mark sheet. So look at it from a different perspective and think that how many people are doing chartered accountancy right now. So I told her that my excitement is of my friends. If none of them are trying, at least I'm trying and I'll go down fighting. So I had given myself I will try to give chartered accountancy till the age of 40. And with from that perspective, I cleared in my 27th year. And that looks like a success right now because I have set myself so much time to become a chartered accountant that this people say that कि अच्छा 27 साल में हो गया तो ज्यादा कुछ बुरी बात नहीं. And one more interesting thing happened that certain times we are self-judging ourselves so much that we don't know what advantages we are getting out of it. So it was an interesting case study that CA Institute had started something called a GMCS program, so General Management and Communication Skills program. And they felt that the chartered accountants are not good in communication. So after you clear your exam, you had to do a 1 month course, which was arranged by the institute. After clearing that, you used to get the CA certificate. And now I was thinking that वहां पे तो सब फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में आने वाले बच्चे रहेंगे, कोई 21 साल का रहेगा, 22 साल का रहेगा, और मैं 27 साल का घोड़ा इनके साथ में कैसे लगूंगा. So when I went for the GMCS program, till that time I had done almost 5 6 years of corporate. I had got corporate experience. So I got to know that when I started going for that program, half of them only had bookish knowledge. Nobody had the knowledge to kind of present. So whenever the professor used to create those groups, these young kids used to come to me and say, "Ashay, present कैसे करने का?" मतलब मेरे पास लेके आओ, मैं प्रेजेंटेशन बना के देता हूँ, तुमको बताता हूँ कैसे करना. एंड आई वाज फीलिंग सो ग्रेट दैट ये सब रैंकर्स, ये फर्स्ट रैंकर है, ये सेकंड रैंकर है, इसको इतने मार्क्स मिले, इतने, ये मुझसे पूछ रहे हैं कि कैसे करने का. So I am not that bad. So that gave me the confidence and that gave me the perspective also that your experience, what you are learning, and the certificate is just one aspect of your career. And the certificate just makes the entry easy. But after that, the communication, the way you interact with people, that is the differentiator. So all in all, chartered accountancy, the biggest lesson it gave me that keep hanging on, because once you clear it, the game changes absolutely in a different manner. And still, I keep on asking people that when I go to meetings right now, not a single person has asked me how many attempts you have taken to become a chartered accountant. So every time I enter a meeting, the people have a perception, oh my God, a very smart person who has all the knowledge is entering this room. So once I kind of get comfortable with them, I start sharing that इतना भी कोई खास नहीं है, बहुत मेहनत रगड़ रगड़ के सीए बना हूं, तो ज्यादा भी कुछ सोचने की जरूरत नहीं. So that's the whole thing. But it I think so now looking back, it was one of the best phases where you went through all those struggles. Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting also because, like you mentioned, we don't talk about this enough that once you are successful, nobody talks about how many times or how many attempts, how many failures. Uh, I'm just curious here, is that something that also inspired you? You said that your family is not from the background of entrepreneurship. Is that also a foundational experience for you, which encouraged you to get into something like that?
uh, what happened is once I started working, uh, you got into the habit that I was into consulting, and I was doing work for uh, the companies. And unfortunately, certain times the corporates have a different perspective towards work. It is more about sales approach to work rather than delivering quality to the customers. And so for giving you an example, that if certain times the customer is asking you for some work estimate, and if it is X days, normally the salespeople used to say that ki, just put X plus some days so that we have some buffer and we get some extra revenue. Because anyway, the client is comfortable with your work and we can earn some extra money. And I always used to feel that this is not the way to kind of deliver something interesting. I believe that you deliver some value, uh, create that value for that customer, and anyway, that customer is going to believe in you and he is going to give you new products. So that was my approach towards it. After a point in time, when I started getting bogged down, that every time I am kind of stuck between the sales guys and the customer, because if I'm representing the company, I cannot kind of talk bad about the salespeople. Whereas when I'm delivering it to the customer, I felt like I'm trying or I'm not giving him the value which I should. And that time it so happened that I was working with a small team, and we had very good, so we are kind of friends. So once I said that "Ki, this way of functioning is not for me, so I will kind of come out and start things on my own. So the whole team said that if you are going out, you are the person who leads us here. So we also will join you. They said if that is the case, we rather start a company and deliver value to our customers. And that's how the entrepreneurship journey started. And from the background, the challenge is I come from a very middle class Maharashtrian family. And in the Maharashtrian family, as soon as you talk about leaving the job, uh, most of the things get so unsettled, because my dad started asking, so what is the challenge? Are you not kind of happy with the boss? Should I talk to him something? Why is it necessary to kind of leave a job? And I kept on telling him that, see, I am a chartered accountant. I have worked for almost X number of years. I have experience. I assure you that if it doesn't work, I will take a job after 3 years. But in the end, if someone asks me that, I don't want to go down with the regret that if I would have started or मैंने ऐसे किया रहता तो I did not want those sentences in my life. I rather accept failure as a part of the process, saying that "Ki, I tried, it did not work, and that's how I started. But I think so at that time, the kind of consulting or the guidance which I got from some people, that was also very interesting, because as entrepreneurs, we are not kind of aware of how things work. So interestingly, we were seven of us. and we all sat down together and we said that कि anyway अपना projects तो customer side पे होता है तो अपने को office की क्या जरूरत है and capital भी अपने को क्यों लगेगा अपने को capital और कुछ जरूरत नहीं है तो सब लोग साथ में आते हैं काम करते हैं whatever money we get we will kind of distribute within ourselves and then went to a person who was consulting young organizations how to start what to do so we went and met him so he said "Oh, okay very nice you guys have taken the first step you have put down your resignations and now you are starting to go on your way. Tell me what's the plan. And we explained him the manner. एक घर रेंट पे लेंगे उसमें एक बंदा रह जाएगा one of the partners will stay in that we don't want capital we don't want anything so he just looked at us for 5 minutes and he said that I would suggest you one thing and we are all ears to what is he suggesting he said that please take back your resignations start go back tomorrow and start your work. And we said, what is the problem? We are all excited. He said that you are starting entrepreneurship with a salaried mindset. If you can't kind of assure yourself that you are going to get your capital back, what are you risking? And entrepreneurship is until and unless you put something on the line, you will not be kind of excited to kind of go and deliver something. So he said, what should we do? He said that tomorrow I want 50 lakhs in the bank account. जो पैसे लाके देगा उसको मैं capital allocate करूँ. And that's when the real discussion started. That we were 11 of us together. Suddenly that 11 number became 7. कि हमारे पास तो पैसा नहीं है डालने के लिए हम तो सोचा था कि ऐसे आके काम करेंगे तो नहीं नहीं I want 50 lakhs tomorrow in the bank account. And he said that once that 50 lakh is in the bank account everybody signs a document which says that nobody leaves this organization for 5 years. And if somebody leaves the organization before 5 years, he has lost his money. Everybody has to sign this. And we all signed that document. And what it actually did is initially, we all understand that startups are not something that you start one day and from tomorrow you'll start getting the orders. So the first year or so when we were not getting orders, this agreement kept us all together कि अगर आज छोड़ते हो तो you are losing something. So better try to at least salvage that money by continue to kind of work for 5 years and try to get that money back. And if you kind of keep on working on one idea for a pretty long time, I think so eventually it cracks. It's a very interesting analogy which I follow in my life that I say that I have a secret I can give it to everybody that they can crack any concept in this world. And the concept is of a magnifying glass. So, school, all of us have kind of tried to kind of do the fire stuff with
Yeah.
paper, the magnifying glass, and the sunlight. So I said entrepreneurship is exactly this. So the first point is whether you have the paper. So what is the meaning of paper? That whether you have something which you believe can be combustible. So it can catch fire. Because if you kind of hold on the magnifying glass on a rock, how much time you hold on to it is not going to catch fire. So आपके पास ऐसा कुछ तो है जो आप बिलीव करते हैं कि वो आग पकड़ने वाला है. The second aspect of it is if you have a paper and if you have a magnifying glass and you keep on moving the magnifying glass, it's not going to catch fire. It needs that concentrated effort that you hold on to that magnifying glass in a very steady manner. And the third part of it is the sunlight, which I call luck. You are being at the right time, at the right place, and all those things. So if you are able to kind of crack this stuff, and there are lots of examples. So for me, the greatest example is Nawazuddin Siddiqui. When people thought that कि ऐसे चेहरे का आदमी किस how is he thinking of becoming a movie star or a movie actor? I don't know. But as soon as OTT platforms started coming in, these kind of cinemas, realistic cinema started coming in. That was his sunlight. But he kind of held on to it for a pretty long time. And in a very interesting kind of interview, it said that कि उस समय में मैं जहाँ पे रहता था जिस जिस जगह में मैं रहता था उस साइज का अभी मेरा बाथरूम है, या उसका वो मेरा बाथरूम भी उस साइज से बड़ा है. So you could see that struggle. Many people don't see these things. We all directly try to kind of see that okay, he got lucky, or ऐसा तो सबके साथ नहीं होता. But how much time are you able to kind of hold on to something which you believe that is going to catch fire? And I think so. All those things were there in me. I believe that ki, and again, this time my average student concept came into my advantage. Ki, because I was an average student, none in the family was expecting anything from me. So कोई मुझसे एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर रहा है, यही मेरे लिए बहुत था कि सब लोग बोले कि ये एवरेज, ये क्या करेगा इतना लाइफ में. सो दैट आई कन्वर्टेड इनटू माय एडवांटेज कि कोई नहीं सोच रहा है तो खुद ही तो सोच लेते हैं कुछ तो करने का. So you kind of think that you can do something special where no one around is thinking. That actually after a point in time feels like an advantage, because I have seen people who were all smart from childhood, and they started telling me that that expectation kind of killed me, because every time I was doing something, I felt like I am judged that whether I do it right or wrong. For me, there were no expectations. So whatever I did was welcome. So that is how entrepreneurship uh, kicked in. I got a lot of learnings from that, right from dealing with customers to uh, dealing with the team. So many dynamics of the team are there that you need to take care of the people. You need to kind of give them the purpose of it. And I still, some of the team members meet me, and many of them keep on telling me that my office was in Airoli, and I used to travel to Goregaon. So some of the kind of employees who used to stay in Goregaon, they used to come with me in the car. So they said that कि आशा यार तेरे साथ का वो डिस्कशन बहुत मिस कर गए, 2 घंटे में हम जो डिस्कस करते थे ना, वो बहुत मिस करते हैं. And I understood that people just don't work for money. People work for something bigger. And if you can give people the purpose, they are far more excited. Money is one part. It is not that it is insignificant, but it is not the topmost priority for people. If you can give them purpose and meaning, they will do uh, anything for you. So as a leader, I think so it's a very important job of a leader to give them purpose in life, and then give them good salary as well.
Wow. There are so many interesting things you just said in that. Um, there are a couple of questions I want to bring up from this. One is you mentioned the paper that needs to catch fire, right?
Yeah.
And you have to believe in your idea. How do you know that this is an idea that can catch fire and it's not like a something that is distracting you, or that internal feeling that I need to do something that is not coming into effect there?
I think so. Right now, we have too much importance on being very confident. I think so. Sometimes carrying a doubt within you is a very good sign that you keep on testing with people. You keep on checking with people. You keep on checking with people who have gone through these things. So you talk to a lot of entrepreneurs that how did you get started? Did you have some phase where you stopped believing in it? At that time, what did you do? Because uh, these are not very kind of fixed things. You cannot have a formula for that. That okay, this is what is going to catch fire. The biggest thing I think is when you get up next morning, uh, do you get an additional idea that oh, this might work, oh, this might work, this might work. If that is happening, that means this idea has got some value. If every day morning you kind of get up and you think that why it is not working, should I try something different, or when will the revenue come in, when it will grow. So when you start kind of thinking more on those lines, that is too much of pressure on your mind that it doesn't get you excited. And as I said that there are no set formulas for that. and you will have to go through doubts. You have to go through all those things. But are you kind of thinking that once this clicks, the value which is going to get added is far more? So, for example, when I was working with Veracities, it was not more about whether I'll be able to generate the revenue, but the concept is this concept. So, if you this is how we had coined the word veracity. So, veracity is truthfulness, and IZ is business. So normally IZ is used for business. So business with truthfulness. So I was more worried about that. Will I get a chance to execute the projects in the manner which I was excited? So then you kind of go and meet the customers, and I think so, you be very original or genuine. You don't try to impress someone, but you try to be very uh, open about this is my concept, this is what I wanted to uh, achieve. And I think so, if you are true to that, many times people connect to your truthfulness than what you are offering. So initial all the projects which I got, it was more about people believing in me, and in at certain places, I telling them that if they used to ask me that, do you have this capability in your organization? Most of the salespeople say yes to everything, and I used to clearly say that no, this is not what we have right now. We can build a skill set, but if you want it right now, we don't have that skill set. And that resonated good with the clients, and they said that "Ki, okay, this person at least is true to what he's saying, and whatever work I did, we delivered it well." So that's how it kind of kept on growing, and now it's a very big company. It's almost 150 people working, and it's doing really well.
Wow, Ashay. I mean, I must admit, all our listeners today are going to get so many management lessons, right? And that too at no cost, right? And in very
the
simply,
biggest the biggest the biggest cost is their time. People should
absolutely.
start understanding their time is very important. Rest
Yeah.
of the things will follow in place.
Yeah, and
Yes, yes, sorry to
no, 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 absolutely okay. And that too in a simplified way, right? The examples that you are giving are everyday life examples. You know, they are not like bookish or that you have lived all these years. So that is something is, very striking with me. And what you rightly said about Maharashtrian family, right? I had such a big smile. I being a Maharashtrian myself, so I could connect with, what you were trying to say there. You talked about veracities, you talked about your entrepreneur journey, you embraced what everybody thought was your weakness, right? You said nobody believed whether I will make big in life, right? But you embraced
Right.
that quality, and that is something I really, it stuck with me. My question now to you is that I know that you now co-found, like, we want to know the journey of Swayam Talks. How did that happen? What is the story behind Swayam Talks?
So, actually, what happened is in my corporate journey, I was meeting a lot of people from corporates. And Naveen, who's the co-founder in Swayam Talks, he was my college friend. So he started this in 2014. So being college friends, and when he initially had this concept in mind, he had told me also this is what is an idea. And I said that very interesting idea, but right now because I am running a whole organization, I'll be able to come with you at weekends if you have some meetings. I can kind of join you. And around 2017, 16, 17, when I started kind of joining him for his session, I kind of started seeing that the people in the corporate, they have everything which the material world says that it is awesome, but they look so stressed. They look so tired. And then I started meeting with Naveen some social workers, some artists, some entrepreneurs who are trying to build new idea, and they look very excited. Some people have no clue how they are going to get funds. Some people don't know how they are going to sell their art. Some people don't know how to kind of they are able to sell the products which they are creating. But they look so excited in life, and I said that ki there is some story missing here. That how come some people who the world believes have everything, look like this, and these people who the world believe that they have nothing in hand, or they are actually taken something which is uh, should not be taken by people, why they are looking happy. And it kind of started as a research project for me, because that is when you come close to 40s, that is what you also started looking within yourself, that कि पैसे तो आ गए, सब आ गया, लेकिन मजा क्यों नहीं आ रहा है. And that's when I said that कि if this would be my story after 10 years, that I look the not so interesting person in the room and I have everything, uh, this should not be the story. So I went to my team and I told them that I think so. I have figured out what I want to do in life. And before that, also meeting people, interacting with young people, getting a perspective, giving a perspective has always been my DNA. So when I was working, also, it was not that when I used to talk to those people, I used to give them something with the perspective that they should stick with me. So there are certain people who left Veracity, started their own organization, and I was happy for them as well. That somebody is trying to do something interesting, and that should be the purpose of life. And when I started seeing these interesting people, I told Naveen that that time he himself is an artist, and most of the times, artists or creative people don't have a business side to them. So they go with passion and they say that कि हम हमारी जिंदगी कुर्बान कर देते हैं, जो होगा वो देखा जाएगा. मतलब भाई ऐसे तो नहीं होगा. अगर if you think that you want to kind of create business out of it, I can become the business person. You continue with the creative side of it. We both will ensure that the creativity remains the top portion of this kind of company, but we can't ignore the commercials which are required. And I always believe that whether it is social organization, whether it is a passion project, ultimately you need to make it work in the contemporary times where you are there. So you cannot say that because it's a project which is I like, I am not making any money out of it, should be good with it. So I always believe that if you want to do something interesting, so many people told us, and many people still believe that Swayam is a NGO. So I'm telling this on the podcast that Swayam is very much a private limited company. We are very much running this like a business organization, but profit is not our topmost priority. We do revenues, we have a cost, but it is when we kind of consider a project, it is not that what we are going to get revenue out of it, and if it is giving us some revenue, we are ready to do whatever we the brand or something desires. That is not the discussion. So, and I think so, as I kept on telling that the magnifying glass concept. So in 2014, when Naveen started this Swayam Talks, so he had these three criteria. So he said that people should pay for the event, and many people say that right now, so many places, so many free things are happening. Why would people kind of come pay and listen to talks? And the second aspect was these people would be unknown. So he said that you are trying too much. Known people को अगर पैसे देने के लिए ready नहीं है तो तू unknown people लेके कहाँ से पैसे कमाए? And the third aspect was the speaker should rehearse. It is so most of the times we see that some organization kind of arranges a talk and they say that please you come on that day, and he gets 1 hour and he just speaks whatever he thinks is right. And he said that no, it will be curated talk. He can talk his heart out, but what he will talk should be we should be aware of it firsthand. So the speaker should give us time to kind of prepare his talk. And all the members ridiculed it. ऐसे होता ही नहीं है. Nobody would be able to kind of execute this. So in first year, Naveen suffered lot of losses. And just to kind of cut the long story short, right now when we arrange Swayam Talks Mumbai, uh, the ticket to Swayam Talks Mumbai is priced around 4,000, and it's a whole day event. and almost 700 people sit from 10 to 6 paying premium amount. And uh, they say that कि अगर और एक घंटा भी चलता, so we would have listened to these talks. So that is how I thought that कि if the purpose is clear and if you are very confident on these things can be delivered as a value and people see value, and most of the times when we are looking at talks we miss the point that we just don't hear the talk. So if you kind of experience Swayam Talks sometimes, I have kind of felt that you listening to someone with almost 700 people to someone, and sometimes the pin drop silence gets through you. So it is about experiencing that talk. It is about, so sometimes just one example, when some lady was narrating how she kind of created an oxygen generation plant in Siachen for our
Yeah.
soldiers. And this she did only through contributions from people like you and me, not single amount of support from the government. And the price was something in crores, so 4 crores or something was the value. I could just sense all people in the auditorium stunned, the silence, some sobs in between. That is the experiences which make you actually human. And once you experience that, when you get out of that, you have a feeling that uh, we should do something interesting in life. And that gives you that feeling that it's not about that 4,000 rupees or the 2,000 rupees for the ticket which gets us excited, but to kind of create that kind of show when people come out, they have goosebumps and they feel that, oh my God, क्या किया life में हमने तो और बहुत interesting करना चाहिए. That kind of things percolating in the society is the real thing which Swayam Talk stands for. And as excited I was for the Veracities concept, equally is my excitement for Swayam Talks, where we are continuously, every day, you will not believe that the whole team is trying to figure out how to kind of get additional interesting things on board and kind of try to make life interesting for people, or at least create that perspective that there is far more to life than what they are doing right now. So that's been the purpose or the story of Swayam Talks.
I was had the privilege to actually be there for one of the Swayam talks. Ashay had very generously invited. So I can so resonate with what you just said, because it's been a few years, but that experience and each of those talks, they have stayed with me till today. Like, and I talk about it, when I have occasions to share these stories. And they were so powerful. And like you said, it was an experience. It was not about, you pay, get a ticket, go sit, like you're going to watch a movie. It's not the same, right? Like, it was sitting with that crowd. uh, there is so much of awe and that silence that you were talking about, right? Because
Right,
I think people are taking in the story somewhere. uh,
right,
they are pausing, reflecting as they are listening to the story, and the stage, the lighting, everything creates a bigger picture of the story to you as an audience.
right, right. And many times it
I
so happens that people kind of
Yeah.
get so reflective on that aspect. So very interesting story that one of our friends had got their young kids to the program, and there was one story shared by uh, two brothers who left their corporate life and went into farming. And she told her father that uh, uh, बड़ा होके मेरे को भी अपना गांव में अपना फार्म स्टार्ट करना है. And he came back to us and he said that ki, I have got my money back far more in return than the money I paid, because to kind of get an idea that now becoming a farmer is also aspirational is
Hmm.
what is interesting. So this is what we want, that people should not shy away from trying different things, and
Yeah.
people should look at everything as an opportunity rather than saying that only these things work and these things don't work.
Yeah. And I'm just curious here, how did you have that conviction that even common people's stories, like you're not an expert, TED Talks for a lot of times I've heard they call in experts to talk about these things, but here you're also bringing the regional people to talk about their own stories, not really an expertise but a lived experience a lot of times, right?
Right.
How did that idea come, and how did you think that is going to work monetarily too?
Yeah, so right from childhood, I think so it goes back to our house also. That the history which I used to study in the books and the Shivaji Maharaj I got to know from the books was far less interesting than the stories when my mom used to kind of tell those stories about Shivaji. So storytelling always had that edge over something which you could read and kind of experience other way. And then we got to know that uh, there are fictional stories, but real stories are stories which kind of give you hope. And I think so hope is one of the biggest element which kind of uh, brings many people out of uh, their despair or desperation or whatever it is. If you just believe that somebody has gone through this and I'm not the only single person, and if he has done it, it is very much possible for me to do it.
Yeah.
So I think so hope as an emotion is a very interesting emotion for me. And when we started seeing that if uh, this story connects with people, and most of the times we feel that people just want to listen to success stories. We curated a talk where a lady came and shared her failure, that this is how I failed and this is the mistakes which I did. And that for that also people resonate with that. People don't want to kind of just listen to something which is unreal. And if people come and say that, yeah, I was like this and I now have so much money, people are not interested in the money part of it. People are interested in what did you do in that middle phase. So one interesting person said that I was going through a tough phase, but I made it a point that I will not stop picking up phones. So when the lenders used to call me, I used to answer every call. And I told them that please be assured that I am in trouble right now, but I am trying to figure out a way and I'll give your money back. He said that most of the times when you stop picking up the phone, that's where you kind of create pressure in on them as well as yourself. So just this small concept of when you are stuck, don't shy away from that. First, accept that aspect of you being stuck. And I think so. The bigger thing with the real stories is because the story is real. Many people have gone through that situation. Well, I always believe that something which is glorified. So, Sachin Tendulkar's story very interesting. But how many Sachin Tendulkars have been created? But how many people who come from villages and strive and do something interesting and make a life? Now, if I get to know their stories, how many people who are struggling with addiction and coming out of addiction and doing something interesting? Now, if I get to know that story, I can correlate with that. That, oh, if he has come out of it, I surely have a chance. And I think so. The chance is what is people are looking out for. And I keep on saying it to people that if you meet someone and if you see some challenges, it's not about reality or unreality. Just when you are leaving that person, tell him that everything will be fine, don't worry. And you don't know what is that impact of that statement. Because it is not about the truth. It is somewhere inside him. His internal dialogue has gone haywire. And the internal dialogue is saying that you are worthless, you are not supposed to do anything, kuch bhi nahi hoga tujhse. So some external, it's kind of some support from external. Everything happens, everything goes fine in the end. So don't worry about it. And especially why I keep on saying that, it's a very simple thing to do. But after so many years, if you meet your friend or if you meet your old acquaintance, and if suppose, just for example, that person has gone fat, at the first instant, don't meet and tell him, "अरे कितना मोटा हो गया है तू?" Because that is not the first interaction which anybody would appreciate. I don't know what he is going through his life, why he has kind of gained so much of weight. It is because of his health or some stress or something. Ignore these aspects and try to find out something which is very interesting in that person. And you don't believe the conversations become very interesting. So I think so. Hope, giving hope to people is we believe that if that would happen, people would really connect with it. And the responses what we get in Swayam Talks is exactly the same. People call us, and so there was one story about one girl who lost her eyesight at the age of 22 because of dengue, and she bounced back out of it, and now she's a radio jockey. She does comparing and all that stuff. So we got a message saying that I am an engineer who tried to kind of get into engineer or try to complete my engineering. I failed and I was about to commit suicide. And I listened to this talk and I have decided that uh, whatever happens, I'm not going to kind of take this big decision. I'm going to fight out everything which happens through in my life. Now, I don't know what is the impact of this stuff and so many things. This person at least kind of called us, kind of met us and told that this is what is my situation. But so many things right now. You have almost 4 lakh followers on YouTube, 1 lakh followers on Instagram. I think so. Even one person kind of thinks that he is good enough to change something. I think so. We have achieved what we wanted to achieve when we started Swayam Talks.
Yeah. Yeah, hope is such an important thing, but I also see that there's much more than that emotion, right? Like a
Hmm.
lot of times it can stir a lot of empathy, thinking, stopping to think about other people. I remember one story I witnessed about the manual scavengers. That there was an NGO that was working for placing them in different jobs. It is something that nobody talks about, but
Right,
it is part of our everyday life, each of
right,
us.
right,
And to open your eyes to something like this,
right.
I think even that is a very substantial thing in each and every person's life, right? Like to stop and think about something that is actually related to your life in some way,
Right, right,
but you've never stopped and thought that somebody else is doing this. A person is actually getting into sewage drains to clear those in today's time when we have AI and every convenience at our fingertips.
right.
So those kind of stories are also something that stirs you as a human being, right?
Absolutely.
What does I mean, those kind of experiences, and when you are part of this project, it must be doing a lot to you as a human being also. I'm interested in knowing what does it do to you personally.
Actually, it puts so many things in a perspective that you start looking at yourself. So I always think that the more people I meet, you start knowing that you are so privileged, and you sometimes start thinking that why so many good things have been given to you, the place you are born, the place where you stay. And certain times it makes you so thankful that that is also one of the things which keep you going. And that is what I was talking about, the purpose part of it, that even any entrepreneurship stuff makes you feel that you are doing something purposeful, that gives you that energy, that gives you that zeal to kind of get up in the morning, because you see that if God has been so kind to you, it is your job to kind of exert yourself so much that it's kind of whatever you have got. I just ensure that it goes back to the system. and nothing stays with you too much because philosophically, ultimately, everything is going to go. But that philosophy, when you kind of start putting into practice, that I keep on calling it the uh, kind of place of abundance. So I think so. Mom inculcated that into us that always act from a position of abundance. And what is the position of abundance is that whatever you take out of me, I will be still left with so much that it will never get over. And I think so. That's the concept. If you see, गांव में जाते हैं तो एक इतना छोटा कुआं रहता है, and that well is connected with a stream from down. So the well does not, it looks like the well does not have so much of water, but you keep filling out the buckets and still the well remains the same. Whereas if you have a pond, the pond looks very huge, but you take one bucket out of that pond, the pond is kind of one bucket short because that is thing which is holding. Whereas a stream is something which is flowing, and that kind of perspective you get towards life. कि इतना दिया है, इतना दिया है कि तू क्या रखने वाला है अपने पास में. The more you give it to you, the stream keeps on flowing. So in terms of support to Swayam Talks also, it's been a entrepreneurship journey, but so much support from uh, people and very common people have supported Swayam Talks to the extent that it's kind of a blank check to us from some people saying that whatever happens, this concept should not stop and it should keep on continuing. So if any day you feel like you are struggling to kind of keep it working, please connect it back with us. We will ensure that this concept doesn't stop. And again, that is the hope which you get that this concept will keep on going.
That's really awesome. I think, we spoke about abundance. We spoke about so much about, strength coming in from the various Swayam talks that happened on the platform. You at the beginning of the, podcast, you mentioned about you being, active into sports, any extracurricular activity. So what I understand that at present also you're into endurance sports, right? So what made you get into it, Ashay?
So when you start working on many things, I understood that whatever I'm doing, uh, this body is an instrument. So that instrument has to be performing to ensure that whatever interesting things you have to do in life. So just take an example. I keep on saying that you might have 1,000 liters of petrol, and you are given a old, worn out Premier Padmini. What are you going to do with that 1,000 liters of petrol? You need to kind of have a Mercedes car with the topmost engine to kind of use that fuel. So I always look at body from that perspective that if I need to do some interesting stuff, something which is beyond the capacity of people to imagine that how these things can happen. So endurance sports gives me that kind of advantage where it pushes me mentally, it pushes me physically, and now to some extent it is pushing me financially also because all these endurance sports are getting very costly. The cycles are getting costly, the registration fees are getting costly. But jokes apart, mostly the physical and the mental part of it. And sometimes as entrepreneur, I see that game happening where my physical strength helps me in my mental strength. My mental strength helps me when I am going through my down phase in entrepreneurship because it is always, I might speak with you guys and say that Swayam Talks, all exciting. But in any entrepreneurship journey, there would be times where you start doubting, Arey, we are trying to scale up, whether it will work, whether these new concepts people will kind of appreciate, whether people will keep on coming back to these programs. At that time, you want certain space where you want to kind of come out of this zone. So I keep on saying that whatever frustrations I gather, I put it into when I start my runs. And till the time my runs are over, my body gets rejuvenated and there's all these problems get converted into my muscles, and I am kind of stress free. And it actually happens. You start something with stress, and when you end, you kind of feel that I was fretting over it too much. It actually did not have that much of value. And if this 10 kilometers or 20 kilometers or whatever that stuff might be, if ये खत्म हो जाएगा तो वैसे भी प्रॉब्लम्स कभी ना कभी तो खत्म होने वाले ही है. And that gives you a very different perspective. And I think so, especially with swimming. So right now, 2 3 months back, I did a swim competition in Kochi, and it so happened that after a very long time, I was doing a open water swim, and my daughter was, because I keep on traveling, so she was not aware, and she suddenly came to know that I have gone to Kerala for my swim competition. And she just kind of tried to bug me off and say that, "Ki, see, tomorrow crocodiles will come and eat you in the water." And I entered the open water, and from my first stroke, I was just visualizing crocodiles around me. And every 50 meters, I used to tell myself, Ashay Mahajan, give up. This is not the place. You cannot work with this mind of you being completely with fear, and you're trying to do something, some activity which is very strenuous. And that time I used to say that, "Ki, okay, don't give up right now. Just go 50 meters ahead. Just go 50 meters ahead." And that's how I completed 500 meters. I said that, okay, 500 meters ho gaya. Now, if you give up, you are wasting your 500 meters. At least complete 1 kilometer and go out. 1 किलोमीटर होने के बाद बोला, अच्छा 1 किलोमीटर तो कर ही लिया है, तो अभी चले जाओ 2 किलोमीटर कर ले. And that you understand that most of the times when your mind wants to give up, you need to give it some story to kind of hang on. And the kind of endurance sports teaches you that. I keep on saying that when I do my marathon, the till the time you reach your 34th kilometer, you only start cursing yourself. Who told you to kind of get into this sport? Why are you doing this? It is kind of, you could have registered for 21 kilometers. By this time, it would be over. You would be with the medals. And anyway, no one in your group runs. 21 किलोमीटर का भी उतना ही तारीफ होता, 42 किलोमीटर क्यों करना है तेरे को. And that time you see that you have to tell the mind that, okay, okay, calm down. Right now, only 6 kilometers to go. You just do 1 kilometer and then you'll figure out. Then we'll figure out. Then we'll figure out. And then when you reach the 42 kilometers, the same mind kind of starts thinking, see what we are so special. We completed 42 kilometers. And at that time, the body gives up. So after you kind of complete the 42 kilometers and you try to kind of take the next step, the body gives up. Say, I have taken you to 42 kilometers. No more going ahead. I want to kind of give up. So you keep on seeing this beautiful combination of the body, the mind, and the overall combination, and that is helping me a lot. You get to uh, experience something which is very fascinating, and it keeps you healthy also. So right now, when I see some 45-year-old, 40-year-olds telling me that कि blood pressure का गोली तो अभी 40 हो गया, तो blood pressure का गोली तो बनता है, and I say that for last 5 years I have not taken a single medicine. And in COVID times also, the doctor, when we got the vaccination, the doctor said that uh, in case बुखार आएगा तो डोलो लेना पड़ेगा. And I had decided in the mind that I'm not going to take any medicine, no dolo, nothing. And my wife kept on asking me, the doctor has said, why are you not taking it? I said, "No, my body will manage. I have trained it enough to kind of take care of itself." So it's a very fascinating journey. And actually, if your body is healthy, I think so the mind works far more better. So that is also one logic. It keeps you interested in kind of having interesting ideas. Executing that becomes far more easier.
It's very interesting when you're talking about this journey with endurance sports. Could relate it so much to running a business, right? Like when you are talking that physical body and your mental strength, everything is connected. And that same journey of fear and telling yourself, let us go a little more ahead and then we'll see, is such a good lesson also to bring into your business journey.
right?
Yeah.
And it helps a lot. So that is what I understood, that all these things which you are doing in life. My I did a interesting experiment in my parenting aspect also. So my daughter came to me and said that ki, I'm going to Bangalore. I need 20,000 rupees. And I said that, okay, I'll give you. How are you going to pay for that 20,000? He said, how do I pay? You are going to make the payment. I said, I'll make the payment, but you'll have to earn it. She said, what should I do? I said that you tell me, you have to give me a plan where you experience some difficulty to kind of get that money or earn that money. So she said that, okay, you go for runs. I will come with the runs for you and see how can I do some activity. And we kind of came up with some plan that X kilometers is equal to X rupees. And then we figured out that she needs to deposit 70 kilometers into my account. So for the next 6 months, she kind of kept on going one day, बाबा मी तुझ्या अकाउंट मध्ये 1 किलोमीटर डिपॉझिट करून येते. मी तुझ्या अकाउंट मध्ये आज संडे आहे तर आपण 2 किलोमीटर डिपॉझिट करून येऊया. In this whole process, in the 6 months, she kind of completed those 60 kilometers. Now the interesting thing happens that next year the school reopens and she comes back from school and she says that की बाबा माझ्या एका मैत्रिणीला iPhone मिळाला. So one of her friends got an iPhone. And she said, but she did not earn it. She just got it. And I said, okay, you got the lesson that whatever you just get it, you will never feel worthwhile because after a point in time, it will lose its worth because you didn't have to do anything. Whereas you have to do something, you would start measuring the impact of it. And then my younger one comes in when her school was taking them to NASA, to US, and she said that the amount is 2 lakh rupees. I think so. I will have to keep on running for my lifetime. I don't want to go to NASA. So So when you kind of try to kind of get these concepts from one aspect of your life to other aspects, so I keep on saying, so whatever I'm doing in life are experiments, and most of the people right now are more bothered about formulas. So people are looking for formulas that what should I do? It is you will have to kind of try many things. What works for you has to be figured out by you. So you cannot take someone's life. So what is the inspiration which you can take from someone is what experiments did he or she did in his or her life. So I mean, I was going through Priyanka's profile, and I'm so fascinating. I'm going to go to Dapoli and meet them. It is so fascinating that most of the people who keep on saying that एक बार अगर सिटी लाइफ का आदत लग गया ना कोई छोड़ नहीं सकता प्रॉब्लम होते हैं वो होते हैं somebody has done it, somebody has gone back, somebody is experiencing it very nicely. So it is not about whether this is the right thing for you to do. No, no, everybody should not go down to Dapoli and say, like, again, make a mess in Dapoli and they would say that why people listen to us. So it's not about going to a village. It is about did you think very calmly about what you want in life? And in the end, so that day I was in a function and somebody had some function. In that function, that person said that ki, I wanted to become an entrepreneur, but my family responsibilities did not allow me to do that. अगले जन्म में sure मैं entrepreneur बनूंगा. And I said that who has assured us that we will be here in next janam? I don't know at least. So for me, it is just keep on doing those experiments, trying to be true to the experiments what you are doing, and accept if certain experiments fail, accept it and don't try to kind of fret too much over it that कि ऐसे कैसे हो गया, why did it work? It did not work. So try some different experiment rather than blaming someone that ये तो चलना ही था. And I think so that's the question to your previous the answer to your previous question, that if the paper is not catching fire and if you are not confident, leave that paper and don't worry too much about it. at least as long as you are trying to find out a new paper. But at least don't hold on the magnifying glass on a rock and then end up saying that यार life waste हो गया. Keep on changing the papers. I think so. You eventually will find what will burn.
That's a message that is not always given out, the formulas are trending, the experiments are struggles, right? And it's very interesting that you bring the shine the light upon the experiments
Yes.
there. And I can see through all the stories that you have shared that though business is usually considered about money making,
Hmm.
you are very clearly bringing value to it all the time. You're talking about money in equal importance with the value. And even when you talked about your friend wanting, he didn't know how to make it into a business, you were ready to bring that and yet keep the value creation at top somewhere.
Right.
How do you kind of keep that measure going, keep that value to it even when the business or the money aspects of it are coming in? What is the motivation?
So the first simple aspect is it should not be the topmost priority. So just shift the money part of it in terms of whenever you kind of sit down for the hierarchy purpose, if you kind of say that ki delivering hope to the people is the topmost priority. Telling genuine stories is the priority. To give quality stuff to people is the criteria. After doing all those things, where you can generate some money. So simple concept is when we were designing one program, so it had a stage, and Naveen thought that this year the stage should be kind of made into a house, and it's like people are coming into Swayam's house for discussion, and I wanted to kind of raise a whole set. And he brought that idea to me, and I heard that idea, and I got to know that okay, this is going to take this much budget. So I said that can we do something interesting? We go to a builder. So if the event is happening in Pune, we went to some builder in Pune, and we said that this is our concept. So the stage will have a house. In the event, we'll just announce that the house which you are seeing is made by these developers. And we ensured that these developers have delivered proper houses to people. They have not defaulted on anything. They are one of the renowned builders in that area. So this tick mark is there. The second tick mark is we say that we will be incorporating in your brand in this concept. Would you be ready to pay this much amount for the brand integration? So now in this concept, you will not see a kind of pan masala integration, brand integration happening in Swayam Talks. You will not see a liquor brand getting integrated in Swayam Talks, even if they are ready to kind of pay us huge money. But as a business, when I see that I can integrate a brand which has got good values, delivering value in the society, and they are a profitable business, so can I connect them with Swayam Talks and deliver the value to their brand as well and get the value out of the system? So, if money is the only criteria, if you send the sales teams with the money targets, what will happen is they will get the biggest bidder to you, and all the other aspects of that brand will fall off. They say that they are ready to pay so much money. Now, one more interesting thing happening is people are calling us and saying that we will pay this much amount to Swayam Talks. Can you get our interview done on your platform? And to which we have clearly said that all the talks which will happen on the Swayam Talks platform would be those talks which we want to curate and bring it on. Now, can we do brand collaborations in a different manner? Yes, absolutely. But as soon as I dilute the importance or the criticality of the Swayam brand and I take money from someone, people will say that okay, that means Swayam Talks पे कोई भी पैसे दे के बात कर ही सकता है. So when the clarity is there, the beauty happens that if you talk to any of my team members and you say that this is what is the concept, you will get the same reply that Swayam Talks पे तो आपको पैसे देके बात करना possible ही नहीं है. So the clarity percolates far more easily. And as I said, that then I think so you become far more creative in finding out value. Because if it is just money, everything is money. But when value is there, you create the value, and then there is no harm in taking value out of it. And I think so. All organizations, including social organizations, including startups, they should bother much about what value they are adding. And once they add value, nobody feels bad about they taking something out of it. So the best example, Tata brand. Nobody kind of feels bad about when they have a Taj Mahal hotel which charges premium. But that's how once they kind of earn the money, they spend a lot of money back into the society. And that is how people appreciate. So if Tata is the brand, most of the times trust, dependability, and all those things come along with this brand. So they have spent a lot of effort in kind of developing that kind of brand. So one of the interesting cases which I came across while Swayam Talks. So the person who resurrected Taj Mahal Hotel after the terrorist attacks was one of the Swayam speakers. So Chetan Raikar, he is an architect or engineer by profession who does these kind of restorations. And he said that uh, in the discussion, the dome which was there, the Taj Mahal Hotel dome. So it was made with particular type of wood and which is very costly. So he said that we can, while we are resurrecting it, right now we have a chance of replacing it with some other type of wood, which people will not be able to make out. The manager of or the person who was the leading person in the project, he said that Ratan Tata has announced that we will make the Taj Mahal Hotel as it is before that. So then it doesn't matter how much it costs. It has to be resurrected with that wood only. Now, this clarity, nobody went to Ratan Tata and asked that, okay, this is what these people are saying. थोड़े पैसे बच जाएंगे, क्या करें? That clarity had gone down to that level. So I think so it helps you a lot in many aspects that once your whole team is clear, you don't have to spend too much energy on explaining it to everybody. And people resonate with that kind of idea. So most of the time when I'm saying that people are connecting with Swayam Talks, it's that purity or genuineness which I say that people connect more with that rather than what we are doing right now.
I think it also makes you liberated, right? When you work upon your principles, when you are true to yourself,
Right.
that resonates well with your team. At the same time, gives you so much liberations. Then you're not bound, or you're not suppressed by anyone. You're very clear. You are happy. You are very peaceful within. Everything that you speak, Ashay, is an inspiration. It's so much learning, with everything that you've said so far. And I understand that, you have been juggling multiple roles. You said that you're an athlete, you're an entrepreneur, you are a storyteller, you are a great parent and a great human being too. So, what remains at the core of who Ashay is, right? Other than whatever we have understood so far from you.
A person who is, I think so, not afraid of failing, and the person who, uh, I, right now, there is too much importance to confidence. And I think so, with so much technology and things coming up, I believe that carrying small amount of doubts within yourself is the reality which is required right now. Because what I have seen that as soon as you start carrying that doubt, uh, tomorrow my 18-year-old daughter tries to teach me something, and with this kind of mindset, I'm ready to listen to them. So when I'm curating the talks, sometimes they come and say that, "Baba, ते मराठी एवढं ते difficult आहे ना की आम्हाला काय कळतच नाही." So then I give the response to the content in that if you want that 18-year-old should be interested in these talks, ensure that the language is also kind of curated accordingly. So some difficult words are there. Try to get words which are used in the normal parlance where people can understand. So it always keeps you uh, available for learning new things. Your 14-year-old daughter can teach you something. Your kind of young kind of employee can teach you something. And that is what I have understood, that whatever happens, Ashay Mahajan is still going to make a lot of mistakes. And I don't worry too much about it. And I say that I am here to learn, and when I keep on learning, it keeps on getting better. But once you keep on getting better, and if you have a upper limit, then you stagnate. So I keep on increasing those limits. So as I said that when I completed 21 kilometers, now on the physical aspect, I have taken it to 42 kilometers. Now I have done 5 full marathons, and not to boast, but it looks like if I do the sixth marathon, I will be able to complete it, which with less effort, but I'll be able to kind of complete that marathon. So now I have taken that level where I'm trying to complete a full Ironman in August. So right now I'm again scared that every day I have a schedule of almost 2 hours, 2.5 hours of workout every day in the morning. And every morning I get up frustrated that why did I register for this? I could have easily done a easy marathon. But that's how you kind of look at things. You never, in your earlier description, you said that Ashay, you have made it big. But Ashay Mahajan should never look at it from that perspective that he has made it big, because as soon as he thinks that he has made it big, I think so uh, that would be the peak from where you will start coming down. So at least for Ashay Mahajan, it is not humility that I'm saying that it is not something interesting I have done. But from if I have an inner dialogue, I always keep on saying that so many things to learn, so many interesting concepts to work upon. Uh, for my mind, I have given my target that if I am living till 100, I should be kind of operating or executing till the last day. It should not. So my mindset is not saying that कि 80 के बाद तो कुछ नहीं होता. So for my mindset, if I am planning to live 100 years, I want to work till 100 years. So now you kind of see the perspective that if I am nearing 50, I still have 50 years of work in me. So how many things you are going to learn in 50? How many new changes are going to happen? How do you keep excited for that? Right now with the AI discussion happening around, I use a lot of AI and I'm very much excited about AI. And it should displace me in certain areas so that I go to new places. If your expectation is world should not displace me, world should take care of me, unfortunately, world is not even caring about what you are feeling. It will keep on displacing you. So to remain that much flexible, you kind of have that spine which kind of move as much as it wants you to move. I think so that has kept it exciting till date. And I think so with the thought process and the team, the people I work with, the people I keep on meeting, it keeps my life very interesting. And I think so that uh, gives me a very interesting perspective. Every day you learn so many things from people. And I think so that is what I can define Ashay Mahajan, that he would remain a student for life and not shy away from taking new risks, fail sometimes, win sometimes, and stay in the game till the last day.
Wow. And that is so much evident from all the experiments and exploration that has been part of your journey. I know you enjoy helping other people also reaching their potential, uh, but at the condition that they are ready for it. How do you know if they are ready for it?
So if I push 5 times and the sixth time they don't respond, I know they are not ready. Because it's similarly like the relation with I have with my coach. He is not here to take care of me. He is here to push me to my limits. And many people might come to you excited saying that, yes, I want to do these things. And you put them through two difficult things and they stop responding. You don't go at the third time asking them. You rather kind of conclude that this is not what you are looking out for. And there is nothing wrong in it. I'm saying that nobody is supposed to make life painful. But I believe that if you are looking for something worthwhile, it will be painful. So I keep on telling people that me getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, if somebody has the capacity to go in my head and see what is there, it's the worst place anybody can be with the whole house sleeping with nice blankets, nice AC switched on, fans are working well, it's very cool outside. There is nothing interesting than going back to sleep. But that's where it becomes that thing that I'm answerable to my coach. I'm very scared of my coach that on Monday when he's reviewing my work, uh, and here I think that the transformation has happened. In my school days, I did not bother whether I failed or whether I scored good marks. But now I nowadays Mondays I get my feedback. But I'm too stressed that if my week has not gone well, I feel that I have put my coach down because he's putting so much of efforts in telling me this should be done. So if I don't do that, I feel like I am putting him down. So similarly, when I try to kind of help people, I am not the person who tries to be too pushy about stuff. So so the management concept of push and pull. So how much you can pull out of me, I am ready to give. But if you are not ready to pull, I don't push that much because I don't know what is your real uh, target in life, whether you are really uh, wishing for a transformation or you're wishing you got excited in that 5 minutes. Because if I motivate people that for first 5 minutes are really, yes, we can do it, but in the next 5 o'clock in the morning, it's where the game happens. That, oh my God, why did I get inspired by this
Hmm.
fellow? He is now behind me. अभी ये करने को बोलेगा, वो करने को बोलेगा. So that's how I identify. And I agree that it is uh, the life which is worthwhile is going to be painful. It is not going to be a very easy life. So I keep on quoting. I quoted someday that if you work like Virat Kohli for the next 5 years, you will have an absolutely stunning life. And to which somebody said that कि उसके पास तो करोड़ है वो तो उसको रोज उठने में क्या फर्क है. I said that कि if you work like this for 5 years now, I guarantee you, you might have 1,000 crores, you will at least have 5 crores. But people easily go into that statement which says that it is not possible for me. And for me, people like Virat Kohli, people like Dhoni, people like Nawazuddin Siddiqui. I keep on looking at them as my role models. So when I get up, I keep on telling कि अभी विराट कोहली भी तो जग गया है तो तेरे को जगने में क्या प्रॉब्लम है. विराट कोहली देख कहाँ के कहाँ पहुंच गया. तो उठ जा, सो मत. बोले सोने वाले बहुत है, जागने वाले बहुत कम है. So better to be the ones who are getting uh, awakened rather than being the people who are sleeping.
It also
Too much
looks like
philosophy, too much philosophy.
it also, I was actually going to say that looks like it is your life mantra, you know. When times are difficult or you are too tired, you use it to
Yes, yes.
get going ahead. And also the important conversation that you brought in, right? Like there is a difference between getting motivated and then the readiness to change.
Right.
That they are
Some
two different things. We think it is the same thing. You just have to get motivated and then there you go. That doesn't really happen, right? Like there
so
is some.
if people know the engineering, there is something called when you put the car ignition, there is a spark plug, and when the spark plug kicks, it gives you that spark, and then the fuel thing gets connected, and the fuel starts burning. So motivation is like that spark plug. It can it you cannot be continuously on that spark plug. It is to kind of snatch you out of something. Their motivation helps. But once you are out of it, to continue that, you need discipline. So
Yeah.
without discipline, motivation will not work. But motivation, you need someone to come back. So in my office days also, uh, this was one of the examples that I once, after all this thought of giving my CA till 40 and all those things also, I had given up and I said that कि 8 अटेम्प्ट हो गए 9 अटेम्प्ट हो गए कुछ हो ही नहीं रहा है so at least नौकरी पे तो concentrate करता हूँ and to which my boss he asked me that कि इस टाइम CA की एग्जाम क्यों नहीं दे रहा हूँ तो मैंने बोला कि नहीं यार मेरे से नहीं लगता कि मुझसे होगा and he said that कि पागल है CA छोड़ के नौकरी पे ध्यान दे रहा है पहले कल जाके फॉर्म भरना and that was the spark you need where somebody scolds you from outside that
Hmm.
कि मत कर ऐसे पागल मत बन you go out complete your degree that degree का importance मालूम नहीं he himself was a chartered so he understood what is the difference between a normal BCom and a chartered accountant so he scolded me he said that nothing doing uh, get going so you need that
Yeah.
spark when you have lost that अपने से तो कुछ नहीं होगा कभी कभी वो spark आपको बाहर से लगता है so that's where sometimes people change your lives.
Very interesting. So, Ashay, I have a very interesting question for you now. If you have to, if your journey was a book, right? And what would be the title of that book, Ashay?
Hmm. I'm not that creative person in terms. I think so. Maybe Naveen should have been on the call to help me out. But I think so. Relentless is a very good title because whatever I got, I did not get uh, that much easily. But the biggest aspect which I felt was the kind of energy to keep going is far more interesting aspect of Ashay Mahajan rather than reaching somewhere. So I never get excited. So when my previous IT company also reached one stage, it was a very good stage. But that time also I did not feel that this is exciting. Right now also in Swayam Talks, we are at a stage where from outside people keep on saying that very interesting, so many things, so many followers and all those things. But you feel that there is so much things, so much. So I keep on saying that whenever you find me, I am working at 40% of my capacity. 60% अभी भी बचा हुआ है. तो वो 60% कब खत्म होगा पता नहीं and if you put it philosophically at my 100 also I will be using my 40% capacity only so that 60% always remains and for that you need to be relentless and again it is not more so in the business where you can identify this but especially those marathons hey, imagine 5 years in a row every 30-second 34th kilometer you have having the same dialogue with yourself क्यों आया यहाँ पे आराम से सो सकता था and the answer would be that because you can you are doing it so sometimes Roshni knows Yajurvendra Mahajan and those kids there is gives me a lot of inspiration saying that uh, sometimes when you feel tired uh, this is what I look and say that today if I can and if I'm not doing it it would be far more disrespectful to people who somehow have not received it so it's like the gift you have been given and you are not utilizing that gift that is far more ungrateful to the almighty that you are not using it so all this thought keeps on working in your mind and relentless would be a very good title to the book.
And as you have been relentlessly doing all this, I think a lot of gratitude when you were talking that about those children with disability, they doing so much, and when you look at them, that being in this privileged position, how much more you could
Yeah,
actually push
yeah,
yourself to do, right?
yes, yes, yes.
If you could speak to your 25-year-old version, but not to give an advice, but just to start a conversation, what would you say right now?
So actually, I cannot absolutely relate to my 25-year-old because at that time he was not taking any care of his health, and just to kind of consider this uh, body as the biggest gift you have received
Mm.
and never take it for granted. Especially if there was a chance I could have shared the photo also of my 25-year-old, and you would say that these two are very different people. And that is what is I started this my health journey in my late when I was close to 40. But before that, I was absolutely not in great shape. So please take care of your body because this is the only element you have to kind of experiment whatever your mind is keeping you excited. If you don't take care of it, uh, you will lose everything. So I think so that is the advice or conversation with that 25-year-old.
And that is something as 25-year-old, a lot of 25-year-olds don't think about, because bodies at that time working well in a way, right? Like it's
Yes,
taking you,
yes,
however you're misusing it, it's still
yes,
taking you at its
yes,
best.
yes, yes, absolutely.
So finally, Ashay, what message would you give to someone, who wants to change, but, unsure about where to begin or how to begin?
Get out of the house first because thinking too much sometimes kind of puts everything at the back end. Uh, get out and kind of do that one activity which you have in your mind today. Don't worry about whether it would be good or bad, but it would be far more better than taking no action. And I think so. Once we go out and we do something, so when I started running, also I understood that I could not run 200 meters at one stretch. And from that, if you keep on continuing to kind of doing it, you reach 42 kilometers in some years. Similarly, in entrepreneurship, you started with no background and you kept on doing that thing, and now you have started two ventures. You are doing good enough in those ventures. So rather than staying in your mind, come out of the mind and execute something. uh, the worst version of your execution would be nothing compared to the best version in your mind, because most of the times people stay in their mind for so long that they lose a lot of time there. They want to build a perfect idea and then start it. And I feel that there is nothing called a perfect idea. There are all worst ideas which you work upon and make them perfect. So getting out of the mind, I think so would be the biggest
No.
challenge. And however easy it might look, it is not easy. So uh, I am not saying it that people don't want to do it, but it is the most difficult stuff. Sometimes our mind sabotages us so much. We don't have any enemy, but we are creating that enemies on our mind, and we kind of stay there, fearing that if we do something, we'll fail. And as I was telling my friend that uh, any action not taken, you are actually getting a failed virtual mark sheet. So rather than have a physical mark sheet at your house, at least you will get the experience of the examination rather than kind of staying back at home.
Wow.
So it's everything you've spoken so far is so much packed, right? Like but I think for me some keywords were like getting out of the mind, exploring, experimenting, finding your own core values,
Right?
uh, And those, I think, will take you, uh, as we see in your journey, take you to, bigger potentials, reaching better places. Even 40% of working would also seem like something.
And I think so. One more thing which I keep on doing is I only compare myself to my dumbest version, which when people used to call me average. So I compare always myself only with my average Ashay Mahajan. I don't compare this with anybody, and that gives you so much space in your mind. So today also, if you are comparing yourself, I said that he was not supposed to do anything. He's doing so many things. इससे और क्या हो सकता है? Many times when you start comparing yourself with others, invariably there would be people who would be doing better than you, who are in this material world successful than you. So yesterday only I had a dialogue with my daughter, and we were talking about the richest person in India. And I said that there are still far more richer people in the world. And she said, no, I don't believe. So I just showed her the sheet of the top richest people. And she said, अच्छा इससे भी अमीर लोग हैं. मतलब वो लिस्ट कभी खत्म ही नहीं होने वाली है. So इससे ज्यादा वाले लोग बहुत मिलने वाले हैं. So how to kind of stay content or be satisfied with oneself, still try to kind of keep on moving ahead. I think so that is the real key. Sometimes we either get so comfortable that कुछ फर्क ही नहीं पड़ने वाला है तो करे क्यों, या तो सब बोलते हैं कि हम लोग पहुंच गए. So उसके बीच में रहना, I think so that's the key.
Wonderful. So, with so much learning, I think we are coming to the close of this episode. Thank you, Ashay, for sharing your incredible journey from CA to Changemaker, from pushing physical limits to nurturing a platform that celebrates purpose and originality. I guess your story reminds us that meaningful change often begins with a quiet conviction and a willingness to question the norm and the courage to act on it, right? To our listeners out there, if today's conversation spark changed something in you, hold on to that spark. Whether you are at a crossroads, craving reinvention, or simply curious about what's possible, remember the path doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be yours. This is Changepreneurs podcast, where we believe that change isn't just a possibility, it's a choice. I am Priyanka Gaigole, and with me is Roshni Radhakrishnan. Until next time, keep challenging, keep changing, and most of all, keep believing. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Ashley.